Meet Kong. He is an average primate trying to survive in a fiercely complex modern economy. Right now, Kong is doing reasonably well. He works a 40-hour week and pays his utility bills on time. And he drives a perfectly fine, deeply unremarkable 10-year-old light blue sedan to the office every single day. It is not glamorous, but mathematically speaking, a paid-off, reliable car is a massive shield against economic chaos. But socially, Kong feels like an absolute loser. Every day he watches his younger coworkers pull up in massive, shiny $80,000 luxury pickup trucks. These trucks have leather interiors and premium sound. The primitive, status-obsessed part of his gorilla brain starts screaming uncontrollably. It's early February of 2026. The economy is stable, inflation has cooled, and the stock market is hitting record highs. The geopolitical landscape feels calm, and regular gasoline is hovering around a comfortable $3 a gallon. Everything feels incredibly safe. Kong looks at his savings and his boring blue sedan, convincing himself he deserves an upgrade. So he drives down to the biggest luxury auto dealership in his city, completely unprepared for the psychological warfare. Enter Donnie. Donnie is the apex predator of car salesmen. He knows exactly how to separate a fool from his wealth. Donnie doesn't sell reliable transportation, he sells pure ego. He sells the feeling of looking down on everyone else. "Believe me, Kong," Donnie says. He walks him over to a massive, menacing, black chrome-plated beast of a truck. It gets a pathetic 12 miles to the gallon, but Kong doesn't ask. He is blinded by fresh leather and horsepower. "I love it," Kong stammers, "but the sticker price is $80,000. I can't afford an $80,000 piece of metal." This is the exact moment Donnie springs the trap. Modern dealerships make their massive profits by selling you debt. "We don't look at the total price. We only look at the monthly payment," Donnie sneers, pulling out an 84-month auto loan. This is an instrument designed to keep the middle class broke forever, stretching payments across 7 entire years. By stretching the loan, Donnie drops that terrifying $80,000 reality down to an illusionary payment of just $850. "But what about gas prices?" Kong asked nervously. "Gas will stay cheap forever. Believe me," Donnie lies smoothly. "The era of expensive oil is completely dead." Hearing that magical number, Kong's logic centers completely shut down. The dopamine washes away any rational thought. Without hesitation, he eagerly signs the dense stack of paperwork. He hands over his paid-off, reliable sedan as a meager down payment and takes possession of the monster. He drives off in a brand new vehicle that mathematically depreciates by $10,000 the exact millisecond its tires touch the street. For exactly 2 glorious weeks, Kong feels like the absolute, undisputed king of the suburban road. He looks down on everyone, aggressively revving the loud V8 engine at red lights. His ego has never been more validated. He is happily paying $850 a month and filling the massive 30-gallon tank for a reasonable price. But then, the unforgiving reality of global macroeconomics comes knocking at his door. And reality absolutely does not care about Donnie's empty promises or Kong's fragile ego. It's early March of 2026. A geopolitical black swan event materializes overnight, altering the global supply chain. Kong wakes up to breaking news flashing red. A sudden, massive military escalation has erupted in the Middle East. Decades of tension boil over. The Strait of Hormuz is effectively blockaded and completely shut down to commercial tankers. Instantly, 20% of the entire world's daily oil supply is trapped. The flow of cheap energy is severed. The global commodity markets enter a state of pure panic. The buffer capacity of the global oil inventory is not prepared. The price of Brent crude oil violently surges, tearing through resistance levels and peaking at a terrifying $119 a barrel. Kong doesn't trade oil futures. He thinks this distant conflict doesn't affect his peaceful suburban life. But he is wrong. Macroeconomic reality always flows downstream. The pain of the global market flows directly into the nozzle of Kong's local gas station. The next morning, unaware of the mathematical slaughter waiting for him, Kong drives his V8 super hauler to refuel. He looks up, and in just 1 week, The price has blasted violently past $5.20 a gallon. His massive jaw physically drops to the concrete. He cannot comprehend the numbers he's seeing. To Kong's horrified eyes, the innocent gas pump begins to twist, warp, and mutate before him. It completely transforms into the terrifying gas pump monster, a manifestation of inflation and poor vehicle choices. It's a ruthless beast that feeds entirely on liquid cash, destroying the budgets of anyone foolish enough to finance an inefficient vehicle. Remember that massive truck Kong bought to impress people? It has a cavernous 30-gallon tank sitting completely empty. At $5.20, a single agonizing fill-up now costs him over $150, a devastating blow. And because Kong lives deep in the suburbs, he has to drive 40 miles every day just to commute to his office. Because of his commute and his terrible 12 miles per gallon, Kong has to face the monster once a week. He is now burning $600 a month just for the bare minimum privilege of getting to work to earn his paycheck. Let's look at the brutal mathematics of Kong's lifestyle to see exactly how an 84-month loan destroys a middle-class budget. First, his base monthly loan payment to the bank is $850. This is fixed. Second, his gas bill, thanks to the oil shock and his V8 engine, is now $600 a month. Third, the bank legally requires full coverage premium insurance, draining another $200 every 30 days. That adds up to $1,650 a month. That is a mortgage payment purely for a depreciating metal hunk. To survive this crushing burden, Kong's desperate financial gymnastics fail completely. The delicate balance of his life is shattered. He is forced to stop eating at restaurants and cancels his vacations. He is literally living paycheck to paycheck simply to support the existence of a car. This is the exact definition of being car poor. You look incredibly wealthy to strangers, but behind closed doors, you are broke. You are one missed paycheck away from total financial ruin. After 3 agonizing months, Kong can't take the bleeding anymore. Desperate, he drives the truck back to Donnie's dealership. He walks into the showroom completely defeated, hoping to simply sell it back. "Donnie, I made a terrible mistake. The gas is killing me. Just take it back. I want out." Donnie smiles, but this time it is not the friendly sales pitch smile from February. This smile is cold, calculating, and utterly ruthless. The facade drops completely. It is the distinct, unmistakable smile of a steel trap snapping shut on its prey. Donnie knows Kong is trapped. "Kong, it's a terrible market right now. Gas is $5. Nobody wants big V8 trucks anymore. The absolute best I can offer you today is $50,000, Donnie states flatly. A $30,000 drop in value in just 3 months. Kong's primate brain tries frantically to process the horrific mathematics. He bought it for $80, now it's worth $50, but because of the loan, the amortization curve means early payments went purely to interest. Kong checks his app. Despite paying $850 every month, he still owes $78,000. He owes $78,000 on a bank loan, but the asset is only worth $50,000. Kong is officially trapped in the deepest circle of modern financial hell, negative equity. In the industry, this is being underwater. Stretch a loan to 7 years on a depreciating asset, and you guarantee you will drown. To simply sell the truck, he would have to write a personal check of $28,000 just to clear the title. That's $28,000 in cold cash, money that Kong absolutely does not have. The trap is sealed. He is contractually and financially forced to keep the vehicle he can no longer afford to drive. Every month for the next 81 months, he is forced to keep paying the loan, draining his wealth to zero. And every single week, he is forced to keep feeding the gas pump monster just so he can keep his job. How did a seemingly smart primate end up in this catastrophic disaster? How did one signature derail his future? He violated the fundamental rules of macro resilience. He built a life that required the world to remain perfectly calm. First, he optimized his budget based on a perfect economy, leaving zero margin for safety. He balanced a brick on a house of cards. All it takes is one geopolitical event or one unexpected bout of inflation, and your perfectly planned budget violently explodes. Truly wealthy people understand that crises are inevitable. They build massive shock absorbers by living well below their means.
Broke people run their budgets at maximum red line capacity, absorbing every extra dollar into a new monthly payment. Second, Kong fell for the long-term loan illusion. Dealerships use 84-month terms as a psychological smokescreen. Here is an uncompromising rule of car buying. If you have to stretch a car loan out to 7 years just to afford the payment, you absolutely cannot afford the car. Period. End of discussion. Do not buy it. It's a mathematical wealth destroyer disguised as a shiny status symbol. Cars are not investments. They are liabilities that depreciate faster than almost any other consumer asset you can legally purchase. Ultra-long loans guarantee the car's market value drops faster than your loan balance, trapping you in negative equity. So, what should Kong have done differently? Let's rewind the tape back to February before the mistakes were made and apply cold logic. Kong is back at the dealership. He's staring at the shiny black truck.
Donnie is whispering sweet, ego-boosting lies into his ear, trying to close the deal. But this time, Kong applies the golden, unbreakable rule of car buying, the 20-4-10 rule. You must put at least 20% down in cash. You must finance the car for absolutely no more than 4 years. 48 months is the strict maximum. And your total transportation costs must remain strictly under 10% of your gross monthly income. Kong runs the unforgiving math on the $80,000 truck. He calculates the massive gas tank and insurance. The truck completely spectacularly fails the test. It blows past his 10% limit by a mile, proving it is a toxic choice. Armed with logical mathematics instead of emotional ego, Kong turns his broad back on Donnie. He ignores the shiny truck and calmly walks away from the dealership. He happily keeps his paid-off, hyper-reliable, deeply boring 10-year-old sedan. It is his financial shield against the chaos of the world. The primitive ego part of his brain throws a massive temper tantrum. It wanted the social validation. But the cold, calculating, logical part of his brain takes control. It takes the $850 and automatically routes it directly into a highly diversified, low-cost S&P 500 index fund, turning a liability into a wealth-generating asset. March 2026 inevitably arrives. The macroeconomic oil shock hits the global markets exactly as it did before. The Strait of Hormuz is completely blocked. Gas prices violently jump to $5.20 a gallon. The gas pump monster emerges, roaring and terrorizing the suburbs, draining wallets dry. But this time, Kong is driving his paid-off sedan. It gets an incredibly efficient 40 miles to the gallon. The monster tries to attack him, but it fails. The unprecedented price hike is certainly annoying, but it does absolutely nothing to destroy Kong's budget. He has plenty of cash flow to absorb the temporary cost. By choosing practicality over pure ego, Kong successfully built a massive macroeconomic shock absorber into his life. He is immune to the panic of the masses. Meanwhile, what happened to his younger coworkers who bought those massive, shiny, gas-guzzling $80,000 trucks? They are silently drowning in the cold, dark depths of negative equity. The global oil market has turned their status symbols into absolute financial anchors, pulling them under. They are now forcefully taking on extra weekend shifts and side hustles, trading their precious free time just to pay the bank and the gas station to get to work. They willingly sacrifice their ultimate financial freedom, their peace of mind, and their future wealth, all to impress strangers on the highway who do not care about them. You must remember the ultimate truth. A car is simply a mechanical tool designed to transport you safely from point A to point B. That is its only functional purpose. A car is not a financial investment, it is not a personality trait, and it is certainly not a substitute for having actual compounding wealth in a brokerage account. Treat your vehicle like the heavily depreciating liability that it is. Minimize its destructive impact on your wealth, and keep your hard-earned money working for you, not the dealership. Are you trapped in an 84-month auto loan? Let me know in the comments exactly how much your monthly car payment is. I promise I won't laugh. Okay, maybe just a little bit.